Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily here in this Hump Day edition. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Krysan. TK joining us from an undisclosed location in Florida, courtesy of LeBaer's Casino and Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. I'm in an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. You can visit at lasportshall.com. And don't forget, the museum up in Natchitoches is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4:30. Go check it out. TK joining us over in Florida. Tell the world why you are over in Florida, Tommy.
Well, I'm in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. I'm 20 minutes from TPC at Sawgrass. The Players' Championship. Round 1 is tomorrow. I'll be out there today, heading out there when we conclude Sports Shorts Daily for the practice round. I'm gonna go to the driving range area. I like to do that because you see a lot of guys hit balls and they're kind of loosey-goosey and joking with each other. I've always thought that was fun at a tour event to spend 30, 45 minutes at the practice range. And I don't know the order of who will be out there. And then we're going to walk a couple of holes, not the Island Green, because we're going to be in the Skybox Suites, row 1 at the 17th Island Green tomorrow. So I'll see that tomorrow. So today I might walk a few of the other holes out there. The weather is beautiful. It's 72 degrees, blue sky and sunny. We're having a great trip. Had an unbelievable dinner on the water last night at Caps in St. Augustine, Florida. If you ever go to St. Augustine, you got it. The food was spectacular. The view, I posted a picture on my Facebook page of the view. It just it looked like a postcard, like one of them beautiful paintings, So I'm down here, the bucket list thing, the Players' Championship. You've checked lots of things off your bucket list over the years, and I'm checking one off this week and be back for Saturday morning Sports Shorts Radio. But going to have some golfing fun today and tomorrow, but I won't have a club in my hand.
I would say the Island Green at TPC Sawgrass is definitely top 10, maybe top 5 most famous hole in the world.
I would agree with that, especially because, these are the pros. This is not you and me and playing out there. These are the pros who we're going to see guys hit it in the water. We're going to see them miss the green. And one thing I'm curious about, in person, how small it might really be. You've been to Augusta and you talk about how the TV doesn't do it justice. Well, I can't wait to get out there and say, okay, like if I did have a club in my hand, how would that feel trying to land it on that area? And it's not tiny, but it's not huge like some greens are on the PGA Tour.
Well, the big thing probably, too, about the Island Green at TPC Sawgrass is the distance that the pros play from, trying to hit that green versus you and I. And it's not always about hitting the green. It's about keeping the ball on the green, right? That's the thing. And when you play from those longer distances, an average player is not going to hit the ball so high to where it lands softly and doesn't bounce and run off. A lot of amateur players like you and I are going to skip it. We landed on the green, just keep bouncing and going past the green because we don't have that height or the spin on it to get it to stay. So that's a famous hole. I'd say 16th at Phoenix. Might be the most famous hole in the world right now, and has become that. I would say those two in America for sure, top 10 and probably top 5.
Well, and when we do Sports Shorts Daily Friday morning at 9 a.m., I'll be able to, give the report. Like, what did it look like? How many balls went in the water and the wind? I'm really looking forward to it. I don't get geeked up too much for sporting events because I've seen a lot of things and been a lot of cool places, but I'm a little geeked up to see this tomorrow.
All right, TK. So the Tigers were geeked up last night on a Tuesday night to play Xavier of Ohio, not Xavier of New Orleans. And Xavier of Ohio, believe it or not, I don't know that I've seen this before. They came into the game. They're out of the Big East. They came into the game 7-9 yesterday. 16 games in on their season. They've had arguably, and I don't say about arguably, they've played the toughest schedule in America. They played Oregon State twice. They played Tennessee. They played Vanderbilt 3 times. They played a ranked Indiana team once. They played them another time. They weren't ranked. Just on and on and on. They played the toughest schedule in America, and they're 7-9. They came in with a team ERA over 7, batting average as a team under 230, but yet their RPI ranking was second. in the country, with a losing record because of how difficult their schedule is. And everyone else has yet to really play their conference schedule and get their RPI numbers up.
I wasn't aware of that. Obviously, be traveling here a little bit, but then the Tigers started fast and strong, and Johnny Hull's staff, and they got it done. And now it's SEC play, albeit Missouri. It's not going to be. They'll finish in the bottom of the SEC standings, but it's still SEC baseball players, and I'm looking forward to how the Tigers can open conference play because, as we know, big importance. If you can get all three of these, that allows for one of those two games down the road in conference play where you maybe let one get away or you get your clock clean one night, So I defer to Jay Johnson. He and his staff will have them ready.
The thing about this LSU team right now, the way it's set up, they have played a super, super soft schedule. They've only got the one loss on the year where they were down in the ninth and came back on 5-0 in the ninth, came back and lost 5-4 and had to tie and run on third base. But they've had a super soft schedule. But that said, they have done what you want a team to do with a super soft schedule going into conference play. If you look at their lineup, everyone's having a great year. The only position really that's struggling a little bit is the catcher spot. Aaron Beatty, the freshman's hitting $150. Hernandez hasn't really gotten it going. He's hitting in the high twos, but he's a guy who, had over 20 homers last year and hit over 350 last year. So based on all that, they've been a little down. Defense hasn't been really good. Aaron Beatty's, really struggling defensively. Hernandez is just average at best behind the plate. So catcher spot is a little bit of a trouble spot. I think that'll get exploited against teams that run. There's going to be wild pitches and pass balls that are going to burn them at times this year. And third base has been a little bit of a, Braswell was, not getting it going offensively, hitting under 200. I think Reeves right now, it's his job. He had a grand slam last night. He's the junior college transfer from Blinn Junior College, hitting right around 300. So played shortstop, and I played third, but he made an error at third. So third and catcher are two spots that, are going to be interesting to watch and see how they develop throughout the year. I think Reeves at third, Hernandez at catcher. Everybody else is backing them up right now.
Well,
everybody
else steps up at third or catcher, and gets hot, gets in a groove, that's just going to speak volumes for their chances of success.
Yeah, I mean, there is nobody else that's going to step up at catcher. There could be some.
If one of them starts hitting a little bit, is what I mean. And look, the other SEC teams, they got a hole or two as well. We might not exactly know it today, but they got an issue 100%. That they're looking at when their version of Sports Yours Daily in their town. They're saying, "Oh, here's the hole." So it's not like it's the only LSU's the only one.
But I'll say that outside of those two positions, every other position, everybody's hitting over 300. Everybody's hitting almost 400, and some are hitting over 400. So I think that LSU is in a good spot. Everybody's playing with confidence. They scored 7 runs in the first inning yesterday, and the only reason that they're still not batting is because Curiel, who had 2 doubles in the first inning, got thrown out at third to end the inning. Had a terrible turn, and it went super wide, and it was a bang play, but he was out. And so, look, they are rolling right now. 18 runs through the first 4 innings yesterday. Got to play everybody, and for the first time that I can remember, the baseball schedule for LSU and the SEC is set up for success in the fact that they played Missouri, the worst team in the league, first weekend. Usually LSU's playing a tough opponent or on the road or whatever. They get a break. They get a chance to play Missouri, sort of ease into SEC play. I think I'd be shocked if they lost the game against Missouri. Missouri's 8-8. They played they went 2-2 against a sister of the poor school over the weekend. They went 2-1 against a sister in the school, a poor school last weekend. So LSU set up for success for the next 2 weeks, Tommy.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. They've done what they needed to do through the non-conference schedule, albeit a little bit on the light side. Lost that first game, that, as you said, against Omaha when they did a doubleheader because the Sunday weather forecast wasn't good. But, hey, the grind begins for LSU and the rest of the SEC teams. And some other conferences have already played conference games, but the focus on LSU starts Friday night.
By the way, the Raging Cajuns last night survived and advanced. They beat Southern 7-5, so it got a little hairy for them. College basketball, before we talk about LSU women's and their SEC tournament and all that kind of stuff, the NCAA and SEC tournament, Southland Conference news, championship game tonight, McNeese is going to be taking on Lamar. There will be a huge crowd because that championship game was going to be at McNeese in Lake Charles, and, of course, Lamar's 45 minutes away. So they're big, bitter rivals due to geography. And Lamar going to be trying to pull off the upset. McNeese, a heavy favorite, but still, those two will be doing battle in Lake Charles. That'll be a nice, fun event. That game's at 4:00 on ESPN. McNeese, that's Will Wade trying to punch his ticket to the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row.
You can't ignore what Will Wade has done in Lake Charles with the Cowboys, and I would think they beat Lamar today, but you got to line up and play it, as we all know.
LSU women, of course, waiting their fate to find out where they will go for the women's NCAA tournament. LSU men, do they have any upsets in them, Tommy? They're the 15th team out of 16. They play tonight their first round matchup in the SEC tournament.
They'll play the 10 seed Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are a 9.5-point favorite. Games in Nashville, the tournament thing. I can't see LSU winning because what you hit the nail on the head all year. They're going to play a good half in all likelihood. We don't know if it's the first half or the second half, but that's been the trend for this team. Play a good half and then have a half where it's just a clunker. It just doesn't go right. Ball doesn't go in the basket. So I guess if they play two halves, they got a chance to beat Mississippi State. But I wouldn't count on that.
Yeah, the question is, I don't think is whether they're going to win or not. It's whether they're going to cover. The line is 8.5. Now it's going to 9.5. So it looks like people are believing that Mississippi State's going to blow out LSU men. The season can't end quick enough for LSU basketball, so they can just get into the portal and start recruiting players and stuff. They're going to have some money to spend finally next year, thanks to the revenue sharing program. If it wasn't for that, there's not a big NIL donor background right now for men's basketball at LSU. The money's going to baseball, football, women's basketball. So it's going to take that revenue sharing. They finally have money, so let's see what they can go do. And McMahon's going to have one more year to turn this thing around, and probably get into the NCAA tournament or bust for McMahon. But at least he'll have some cash to play with. Speaking of cash to play with, this one surprised me, Tommy. The New Orleans Saints, right? Chase Young, Chase Young was a superstar at Ohio State. He was a guy that was going to be a franchise player, but due to injury, it never happened. So the Saints end up getting him coming off of an injury, and they sign him to a manageable one-year deal. And Chase Young stays healthy, and he looks big and strong, and he stays healthy, and he played okay. And what I mean by played okay, Tommy, is he didn't have big sack numbers and all that. He seemed to be the guy that was always one step away from a sack, right? You'd watch the film 99 and, he's putting pressure. He's driving the guy into the backfield. He's close. He's almost there. And then he's not. And I guess that's good enough these days. If you've got potential and you can stay healthy and you got a reputation, you get 3 years, $51 million, because that's what the New Orleans Saints paid Chase Young, 3 years, $51 million. When I thought that this was the year that they were going to strip the team and, get the cap right, not for the future. Nope, that's not what they're doing.
Well, I'm like you. He played okay. He's a big guy. He looks the part, okay? And I think the injuries in his career, maybe that one step away wouldn't have happened if he didn't have all the injuries. But you got to have somebody that can affect the passer in the NFL, and maybe the new coaching staff, he'll get a little juice in him, and he'll get a little amped up and stay healthy, and then go from there with that. But we talked about it Monday. The wild week in the NFL is full speed ahead, league wide.
It's with signing of Derek Carr, which to a certain extent I understand. I can understand that one. Don't love it, but I can understand it. Not to say that they can't make a move in the summer, depending on what happens in the draft and all that. I get it. But I understand that. But these other decisions that they made, which they're restructuring some veteran contracts and keeping guys around, I don't know. Because as a Saints fan, I'm willing to hold my nose this year. I'm willing to just let them be awful to get right for the future.
Right.
Because there's no chance that they're gonna right the ship and win a division. By the way, speaking of what's going on in the NFL, everybody's getting a mega contract. It's incredible the revenue that they have. Everybody's getting a mega contract.
Proof that the NFL owners in these franchises are making mind-boggling money. Okay, they wouldn't be doing it if they couldn't. And there's some are spending more than some others, but there's still just so much money involved. Like their budgets are larger than that of the Baton Rouge Rougarou.
Just a hair. Aaron Rodgers, still hasn't landed anywhere, but it's a possibility because Sam Darnold, of course, signed as a free agent to Seattle. So Sam Darnold picked up $100 million. He's going over to play for the Seahawks. Geno Smith, of course, left and went to go play for his old coach, Pete Carroll with Las Vegas. But Aaron Rodgers still wants to play for a contender, doesn't want to play just for anybody. It's a possibility he could end up in Minnesota. And Brett Favre, if you remember, went Green Bay, Jets, wasn't really good with the Jets, thought, okay, now his career's over with for the third time, ended up in Minnesota, had them in the NFC Championship game where they lost to the Saints at the 09 season. There's a possibility that could happen. And if Aaron Rodgers ends up in Minnesota was really good last year with Sam Darnold. Okay. I don't necessarily like Aaron Rodgers' politics. I'm not a big fan of ayahuasca, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, I think Aaron Rodgers is as good or better than Sam Darnold at this point.
Yeah, and he'll have a guy named Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to, who is one of the top receivers in the NFL. So, the while week continues, when we're here Friday morning, we'll talk more about all that. So
I hope it happens, Tommy. I hope it happens because it'll be something to talk about and something to watch and pretty. Even though they're in the NFC, and of course the Saints are in the NFC. Not that the Saints are ever going to make the playoffs, but it would be awesome to see the Brett Favre tour / Aaron Rodgers tour just follow each other.
Yeah, that's kind of almost like eerie, like the little path there. But we'll see.
Justin Fields, by the way, the former Georgia Bulldog quarterback who last year split time with Russell Wilson and Pittsburgh, he is now the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. So Aaron Glenn, the former New Orleans Saint player and assistant, is signed Justin Fields. That feels like a 1-year Band-Aid, maybe a 2-year Band-Aid at most, while they try to figure out who their franchise quarterback is, unless Justin Fields pulls a Geno Smith and has an amazing turnaround to his career. Tommy, tell us about Tremonti's as we get out of here.
Well, they still got the lunch special today, $6.99 burger and fries, dine in, dine out. That's the famous burger you can get at a Rougarou game all summer long. And they got boiled crawfish, live crawfish, everything you need. Stop by Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. You'll be glad you did.
All right, TK, enjoy your time over at the Players Championship, and we'll talk on Friday and Saturday as well. For Tommy Christ, I'm Ronnie Rance. Thanks for watching Sports Church Radio presented by LeBears Casino. Please like and share it, and we'll see you on Friday, everybody.